Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Truth Podcast. My guest this week is Chanelle Yarber, and she is a digital marketing queen. At least that's what I'm dubbing you
Ah,
as.
yes, I like clean. Ah.
There you go. There you go. There you go. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm here. No, I'm so truthful about things. It's been a very long day. There's been a lot going on, and I'm happy, but I'm very tired. So
Well,
it's kind of the way things go around here.
that's
Um,
life.
I always ask this question first. What made you want to become an entrepreneur?
Sure. So, I'm not sure that it's something that I wanted or it was a dream of mine to always be an entrepreneur. That was not the case at all. It was something that I stumbled upon or that happened to me or became somewhat of a means to an end, if you will. Um, because I grew up, with the idea that I would get good grades, I'd go to school and graduate and get a good job, and I would have a picket fence and a dog and some kids and a husband or something, right?
Okay.
None of that happened. Uh, None of that happened, by the way. Um, I did go to school and I got good grades, but the rest of it is just,
A fairy
life.
tale.
So yeah, a fairy tale. Seriously. So in 2010, it was about a year after I had finished grad school. Actually, I went to grad school to for media management, and I lost my job in 20. When was that? It was 2011 actually that I lost my job.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so I lost my job and I was off work for about almost a year. It was just shy of a year, so about 11 months.
Hmm.
And I was living in Indiana at the time, and the job market there was not being friendly to me at all. And so I ended up moving to Dallas. And I moved to Dallas in February of 12. And 2 weeks later, boom, I get a job. I get a contract doing exactly what I want to do. So I'm like off
Wow.
to the races. I'm excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And 3 months later, they ended my contract, and they were like,
Oh
"Okay,
no.
we don't need you anymore. Bye." Whatever, however they said it, it was over.
Mm.
And so after a year being off work, and to be quite honest, um, sometimes your identity is tied to your work and what you do.
Yes. Oh
And,
yes.
and so I mean, I went through like this crisis in a way where it was like, who am I and why am I, like, what is going on? Why am I being rejected so much? What
Hmm.
is this? Why, I just had this job and then I got this one and now they're letting me go again. It was just
You
craziness.
question yourself.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally questioned like everything,
Hmm.
but what I didn't question was my skill set. And I knew what I was talking about. I knew that I was sharp. I knew that I was bright. Uh, BrightGirl Media, which is, the name of my business. But
Right media, right?
yeah, Bright Girl Media.
Right girl
And so,
media. I thought that was really cool.
cute. That's actually exactly how it came about. I'll tell you that in a second.
Okay.
But I knew enough about myself to know that I could do it. And so I said, I'm not going to put myself in the position again to wait for somebody to validate who I am or my skill set or anything like that. And I just launched this business. And I only had $600 at the time.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, it's do or die. I got to get out here because I'm tired of filling out all these applications. And, you do the stuff online, and I promise you, the applications are going into a dark hole. Like, I don't know. They're just going off into the abyss somewhere. They are. I don't know
The
what trash
spam
bin they.
folder.
Yeah, that's exactly where they're going. They're going into the deep dark holes in the corners of the spam folder, never to be found
Found
again.
again.
So that's so funny. But seriously, I that's what made me start my business. It was because it was somewhat out of necessity, somewhat honestly out of pride,
Mm.
and I just was like, you know what, I can do this. So that's how I got here. And the name of my business came out of the whole, me being smart and
Right.
scrappy, and my personality is a little fun and
Yeah,
lighthearted.
it is.
And of course, I'm a girl, and and then the media. That's been my passion
That's what you
from
do.
day
Yeah.
one, and so
Right,
yeah,
girl media.
right,
I
girl,
like it.
it is.
Now, along the way, I'm going to ask, what were the obstacles, or internal or external, that you went through in becoming an entrepreneur and continuing that business?
Whew. So I already just told you the $600 is where I started.
Right.
So that was like my website and
Hmm.
getting all that stuff together, just the basics of saying I'm a business, putting my and luckily I had a friend who was helping me with the web development piece, but because it really should have cost more than that. But anyway, uh, filing my business name, and all that other stuff, learning what I needed to do to be legit is the first thing, because when you're
That's awesome.
shifting from, I'm an employee and I just fill out this application, I give them this W-4 or whatever little form, you get, and they give me a paycheck. Oh, that's completely, like, that's the easiest thing. I tell my friends all the time, it's the easiest thing I've ever done in my life is go to work for somebody else.
Yep.
It is, because you don't have to think about anything. You just get up and go, and you just expect that at the end of the week you're going to get a paycheck.
Yep.
Like, ooh. um, but that was one. It was shifting that. It was shifting the mindset to what I had to do, and learning along the way. I'm ever evolving, ever learning. This is 7 years later, and I'm still figuring out ways to make this thing better. So,
Yep. Yep.
those are really the obstacles. And then also in 2016, the end of 2016, I had a major health scare. I had a cancer scare where they found a fist-sized tumor on my adrenal gland.
Mm.
And so it was a freak accident the way that they found it. I had a procedure that it was just like an hour-long outpatient procedure. They put me in a little twilight sleep, and I woke up and I was fine until I got home, and I noticed that my breathing was labored. And so
Mm.
I went to the ER to figure out what was going on. I thought I had a blood clot in my lung, and they were like, "No, you don't have a blood clot, but you do have this tumor here, and we got to
Yeah.
get it out."
Yeah.
So that kind of set me back. That set me back actually a year and a half, because
Hmm.
then I had to get back. I had to get my health insurance situation together. I had to, recover. And I honestly didn't fully recover before I went back to work, because that took me down, financially. So a month after being, in surgery and all that stuff, I went back to
Mm.
and then I thought I had hit the promised land, because I had this job that I loved so much. Um, and it was finally back to like easy street. Oh, just get up, go to work, and come home. You got a paycheck. And so I just put my business on the back burner, and I was just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to struggle in
Mm.
this way. I
Right.
don't, I had kind of lost my passion for it. And in hindsight, I think it was because I was going through all this trauma with, the health scare. I
Hmm.
didn't have the passion to do anything. Like, I didn't want to think about I just, you know, if you go through something that traumatic, it's almost like you're in fight or flight, and you just kind of
Hmm.
shut down all of the unnecessaries, and it's just
Yeah.
like, laser
You're
focused.
focused on the next step.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
In uh, 2006, I had both kidneys fail, and then I had dialysis for 3.5 years. I was actually at work when this happened.
Mm,
So go right to emergency. I had 5 blood transfusions. I had a catheter placed in my chest. I went through my this here and then my heart, and they had to do emergency dialysis and all this. And I was on dialysis for 3.5 years. So
jeez.
when you said that, it just hit me. I don't think we truly ever recover from that. I think a
No.
piece of us goes
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
And so when you said you lost your passion for things, everything was kind of like, here, just I can't focus on anything else. I just got to focus on the next step.
Yeah.
I totally understand,
Yeah.
completely get what you're saying. And anybody else who's ever been through a health scare, I know my first interview with Lynn, she had cancer, and so she went through a lot. And I think it changes you. I really
It
do.
does.
I
It
think it does.
does. And I didn't realize that, I was, like I said, I was just kind of going through the motions, just trying to get back to the normal, or get
Yeah.
back to where I was, but I didn't realize that, like, your life has completely shifted now.
Yeah.
It's just, it's different. And I didn't take the time to deal with it then, because I jumped right back into work after. I
Yep.
mean, I literally went back to work, and I was walking so slow. And they were like, "Are you okay? Did you really drive yourself here?" I mean, I could barely, like, walk and sit comfortably
Mm-hmm.
at my desk. And that's how quickly I went back to work. It was like a month. And
Yeah.
if you know anything about adrenalectomy, like, it wasn't laparoscopic at all. It was, they cut.
Mm.
So,
Cut deep.
oh yeah,
Ouch.
oh yeah. And it wasn't until, honestly, uh, this week, that I realized. And
Wow.
this interview is time, like, these questions are timely. So I'm in a networking group, and one of the girls there is a physical therapist, but she specializes in piercing, scars, and tattoo, like, rejuvenation, because your body goes through trauma when you go through any of those things.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize how much my body was overcompensating for, the incision. And I
Mm.
didn't realize how much trauma I had internalized and was holding on to, um, as a result of that happening so fast and my life changing so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
And she kind of brought it to my attention. We were just, I don't even know how, we were just networking and talking. We had coffee one day, and it came up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I have this scar," and blah blah blah. And she did a couple quick little physical tests on me, and sure enough, I was completely out of whack. And
Mm.
so this week we started doing work together, and I'm laying there, and she's helping me, and I'm just like, tears are just flowing down my face.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is so weird, because this is like, it wasn't a spiritual thing, it was just physical therapy.
Right.
But as she was, talking me through, asking me certain questions, and causing me, it was like I was almost, I don't want to say reliving it, but it was
Mm-hmm.
almost like, yeah, this really
The
did happen.
emotions came back.
Yeah, it was like, this is real. This really did happen. You
Mhm.
really didn't heal from this, but now it's time to heal from it. Give yourself permission to do so. Um,
Mm.
and so it was, I mean, even though it was physical therapy, it was deep work. And I really appreciate her for that, because people have surgeries every day. I
Yeah.
mean, but I don't think we really take the time to realize what those instances and those things that we kind of just brush over really
Hmm.
do to us. And so,
Also, when your life is threatened by
woo,
anything,
my God, you just go
you,
into fight or flight. That's
yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
nothing else. And
yeah,
so
you just change,
you do.
and you're not the same person anymore.
Mm-mm.
Everything that you took for granted before is totally different in your life now.
Yeah.
Your goals are different. I mean, time means a little more to you than it
Oh
used to.
yeah. Oh yeah. And
Yeah.
that's honestly what got me back in the saddle and on my game again. Is after about a year and a half of working, and I was comfortable, I was good, and I'm like, "Oh, this is great. I'm just gonna
Hmm.
work here for the rest of my life." Like, I was just done. Like, I was spent. I didn't have any energy to try to do this
Oh, I
entrepreneur
know.
thing. I was just, I was over it. So I was just like, okay, I'm making a living. I'm doing good. I'm wonderful. Um, I recall, and I'm a spiritual person, and I believe in God. And I recall praying and just being in my quiet time and just hearing, "Start your business again." And I
Mm.
was just like, I do not want to do this. I'm good. I'm okay. Like, I don't want to go through, whatever again. Mm-mm. And it was like almost like a pilot light was lit again in me.
The fire started going.
It started going again. And I was just like,
Mm.
what is this? Like, I thought I had given this up. I thought I didn't want this anymore. But now I got all this creativity and it's just like all flowing and coming back. It was just weird.
Mm-hmm.
So about June of last year, 2018, I got back going. I started putting
Nice.
little pieces together. I was still working, but I'm like, okay, well, I have some money from work and I can invest a little bit and kind of learn from what I didn't know in 2012 starting, the mistakes that I made and like started afresh with new tools, with new strategy, based on
Yeah.
all the things that I messed up before. Just learning, because trust me, I was out here stumbling. I mean, but I was doing okay, but I was still like, this was a whole new world, because
Yeah.
you got to get out, you got to be the bookkeeper, you got to be the salesperson, you got to be the customer service, you got to get in there.
Yep.
And if you don't have some systems in place, then God bless you. But seriously, man, I think that part of that had contributed to my illness, because I was overly working myself. I was stressing myself, and if you know anything about the adrenal glands, it's adrenaline. That's where
Mm-hmm.
your adrenaline is produced. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think I was overworking. Um, but got back in a year and a half ago, and um, I'm so grateful for that still small voice that I heard, because I did not know that 2019 would be me back in the fire again.
What happened?
Oh God. So everything was great. I was working, and you know, it was just, I mean, I couldn't complain. Of course you go to work and everything isn't always, you're dealing with people, you're dealing with politics, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it is what it is. But I was navigating it all until I just like found myself in this weird crisis state again. Um, Things at work weren't clicking anymore. I was getting called into HR for random crazy stuff that I'm like, what is going on here? Like, one minute I thought I was doing great at work, the next minute I'm failing. And I'm like literally going in every day working hard and doing what I thought was the same thing, but it just seemed like my best wasn't good enough anymore.
Yeah, it gets to a point. This is something too that when you are supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing, everything else will shut down in your life. So
God.
it's not necessarily that you were bad.
Yeah.
You were just in the wrong fit. You're in
And
the wrong spot.
that's what I know now.
Right.
Again, that's what I know now, that I didn't know then, because again, it was that it almost reverted me back to that 2012. What
Yep.
is wrong with me? Why am I being
Yep.
rejected? What
Yep.
I'm doing everything and I'm trying to prove myself, and now I realize that, um, and I'm comfortable in just being who I was created to be, and
Mm-hmm.
I honestly, I think I was created, now that I can look back, I was created to do this. I was
Yeah.
created to own my space and
Yeah.
to, be a boss and to just be in this lane of entrepreneurship. I love it. I love networking with people. I love helping people. It just, I don't know, just something about it. It invigorates me. It gives me
Yeah, it
purpose.
satisfies you
Purpose.
in a spot where you know it's you.
Yep.
You know it's what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to give to the world,
Yeah.
and you're in your spot.
Yeah.
You
But
know.
I was so busy trying to fit into a mold that did not fit for me, because it was based upon what I had been conditioned.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, like I said, the get a good job, go to school, get good grades, get a good job.
Yep.
Period.
Robert Kiyosaki
Tired.
writes about that. Robert Kiyosaki, in his book Rich Dad
Yeah.
Poor Dad,
Yeah.
was saying the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, my poor dad was like, hey, go get a great education, get a good job, that'll be everything will be great, and his rich dad said, no, that's not how you do it.
Yeah, for real.
But it sounds
And
like the same exact thing.
yeah, I mean, and even in that, going back to the question about my struggles,
Hmm.
that is that has been a struggle over the past 7 years, and I really recently just got the tools to address it. I didn't realize I was being like armored up to address it with my father, um,
Okay.
because he has had the same job since he was 17 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, or 18 years old. Either way, he was
So
a teenager.
how did he take it that you wanted to do something on your own? Was that something that he had a struggle with, or?
Mhm. Oh, and I still hear about it to this
You
day.
do.
And
Oh wow.
I love my dad. I love my dad, but um, part of that has always been, how can I find approval in him? How
Yeah.
can he approve of, and pat
Yeah.
me on the back? And I had to get to a point where it was just like, I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care if you do or don't, because what I'm not gonna do, especially after going through all of what I just told you.
Hmm.
What I'm not gonna do is live my life under someone else's standard, under someone else's, live for someone else's approval. My life is too short and too fragile to put myself under undue stress based upon what somebody else is thinking of me.
Just have to think that his filter is so much different. You
Yeah,
know, my
and
mom's like this.
I'm
My
at
mom's like,
now.
hey, you need to get a good job and all this other stuff. And yes, I have a job right now. Yeah, I'm not there yet. Um, but at the time, she was like working at like J.C. Penney's or something, and full time, been there for a while. Yep, she got insurance, got all this other stuff, and then all of a sudden
Mhm.
they cut her to part time.
Mm,
Crushed her. She lost her insurance, lost
yeah.
all this stuff, and then she started crocheting and making stuff and going to craft shows and making a side hustle. And then she understood.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's hard when you're in a mindset like that, because you cannot understand how someone could put themselves out
No.
there and risk everything is what they see. They see that
Yeah.
you're risking everything to do this when you could just go get a good job.
Just go get a job.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was home in Indiana about almost a month ago now. And actually, yeah, it was a month ago now. And I saw my dad, and
Mm.
the first thing he's always going to ask me is, "Do I have health insurance?"
Hmm.
That's the first thing. Like anytime I talk to him, anytime I see him, whatever, and he's going to be here in a couple days. He's coming to Dallas to visit me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know that he's gonna ask me about health insurance. I
Well,
guarantee you.
we're
I'm
gonna
gonna get back
prepare you.
on here. All right, I'm gonna get back on here and be like, hey, I told you he's gonna ask. I
Yep.
told you he's gonna ask me about health
Sure.
insurance. But I just think about his life, and he's absolutely fortunate to be in the position that he's in, and I'm proud of him for working so hard the way that he has, and honestly, like now he doesn't work hard at all. He's been in the steel industry. He started as like a laborer, and now he's a salesperson. So
Oh
he's
wow.
not, yeah, he's just
Yeah,
travels and talks to people and does what he does best,
that's
talk.
nice.
Yeah. So
That's
he's
kind of
not.
what I do best. So I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah, yeah. So he, even when I asked him, when I saw him, I'm like, so when are you going to retire? And he's like, I am retired. I don't do anything.
Oh,
So, and
that's
I don't think he would know what to do if he were to leave.
right.
And then talking to him, I realized my dad has never had to write a resume. He's
Wow.
he's
But
never
it's
had.
true because he's been since 17, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
He moved from southern Louisiana. His family, some of his aunts and uncles lived in Indiana, and they had started working in the steel mills up there. and they called for him right after he graduated high school in 1974.
Wow.
He graduated high school, and they said, "Hey, come up here and work over the summer before you go to college." He was supposed to go to college because he was an excellent musician. And to this day, my dad can pick up a horn and just play it like he just played.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, "Just come up here, work for the summer, stay with us, get some money, whatever." That was the plan.
Right.
And then he got there and he started making that good steel mill money in the 70s. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
And so, no, I think he's been laid off once, and I was like a baby at the time. But he was in a union, so they help you find more work or whatever. But no,
Right.
He's never had to write a resume, never had to go on an interview or,
Wow.
all that process.
That's amazing.
Not since then,
Right.
and so he doesn't understand what it feels like to not know where your next whatever.
And you think
coming
about
from.
this, he's never been rejected either.
Never been rejected. Isn't that something?
It's amazing, isn't it?
I didn't even. But that rejection will take a toll on you until
will.
you understand how to channel it. And so,
Right.
for
Right.
entrepreneurs, that's something I see in a lot of my friends. They say little snide remarks, to be honest, about my course of life, because they're in the same position that he was in. They had never had to wonder where this next thing was coming from. They followed the rules and they got the jobs, and they've done whatever. And I'm just like, how fortunate you are that you don't even understand what it looks like to have the rug pulled out from you. Not once, not twice. I only told you about 2 times that I had this happen to me. This has happened to me more than that.
Wow. Oh, we
Yeah.
have time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you get into these positions and you think that everything is okay, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, this department is shutting down. Oh, our sales aren't doing that good. I mean, I worked for a luxury retailer in their digital marketing department. You have a bad Christmas, everybody's getting fired.
That's true. Yeah,
So, yeah. So, I'm like, wow, it's just a different mindset. But as an entrepreneur, I think it prepared me. I didn't know it then. But now I can go in a room and I can talk to anyone, and I can, ask for what I want to ask for,
Right.
and take it or leave it. Because
Right.
I carve my own path. I make my own way. And it took some time and it took some conditioning to get me to a place where I didn't take it personally anymore. And I just realized, you know what? This is business. It's not, they're not looking at Chanelle and saying, "Oh, Chanelle, you suck." They're looking at, seriously, they're looking at their bottom line. They're looking at their strategy just the way that I do in my business when I'm, saying no to certain things. So, it's just a different mindset.
I think that it's difficult us as entrepreneurs to get the feedback sometimes from our friends and our family and all that stuff, because you start feeling really low.
Oh yeah.
You almost feel like you have to make an excuse for what you do.
Oh my God. Yes. It's like, or, people, and I don't know if this is a thing everywhere or if it's just Dallas, but in Dallas, a lot of people, it's an up and coming city. It's a metropolitan city, and it's fast growing. I mean, like, it's crazy how fast Dallas is growing. I think they said in the past couple years, about 1 million people have transplanted here.
Oh,
yeah,
that's a lot.
And I live in the fastest growing city in America, so that tells you how, like, when I first moved out here, it was cows, and now I'm like, where are the cows and where are the horses? So,
what's the mindset there?
So the mindset is, you go out and you're talking and, having drinks or whatever. The first thing they're going to ask you is, what do you do?
Yes, that's here too.
Okay. It's never how are you, or anything about me as a person. It's about
Right.
what I do.
About what you do, and what
What
you do
you
becomes who you are.
are. And I had to disconnect myself from that.
Yes. Yeah,
I
that
really
makes sense.
did. After all of what I just said, I had to disconnect myself and find my worth and my identity in who I am, not what I do.
Exactly. Have you
Because we're
found this? I mean, we have some stuff like in Michigan. I don't know if it's the same way there, where it's people like to work themselves to death. And I mean, 60, 70, some odd hours a week. And if you don't do that, you're lazy.
yeah.
And I was okay. I work 40 hours a week. I don't try to do overtime because I'm trying to do this, and I have a Lions podcast I do as well. And so Detroit Lions.
Okay,
So
Detroit. I'm a Bears fan, but I love Detroit still.
ah,
Yeah.
the thing is, though, it's like, okay, so I'm doing all this, right? And I didn't want to work Saturday. So every time they ask for volunteers, I don't volunteer because I'm doing stuff like this, after work, or I'm doing, building what I want to build. And they're like, well, you're lazy. And I'm like, I've been up since 4 in the morning working on my stuff. I go to work for 8 hours. Then I come home. Like tonight, I'm doing an interview now, and then I'll have to work on that, edit it, do all the stuff I need to do to make it go public. And
Right.
it's like I'm working all the time. If I got a Facebook group and trying to grow that, trying to grow the YouTube channel, all these things that you have to do, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, you're lazy because you
Mm-mm.
don't want to work here overtime, but you want to work on your stuff. So, you know what I mean? Like a
So I don't
selfishness almost.
I don't that's something that I will say is a different culture than the Midwest. Here it's very entrepreneurial.
Mhm.
That's commended. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
you
do
you're doing
there.
you're doing this on your own. Like, oh wow, that's great. Um, it's commended, and there's communities for that. And I'm grateful because I'm a member and I'm the president of my Master Networks chapter, which is a national organization of entrepreneurs and business leaders, and we network together. And so we meet every week,
Wow.
and we do trainings and share referrals and help each other grow our
Nice.
businesses. And it's been phenomenal for me. It came just at the right time. It came when I was exiting, literally as I was exiting my job. I learned about Master Networks, and I plugged myself in, and I've been going ever since. And
Nice.
that's my community. And I've had to find that space because I didn't have those tools before, and I didn't have that community to where I could call someone, and say, look, this is what I'm dealing with in my business. Can you help me? Or this is how
I
I'm
love
just
that.
feeling as a person right
Hmm.
now, dealing with, I haven't closed the contract in 3 weeks. Oh my God, this is horrible.
Hmm.
And then talking to somebody, and they're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm kind of going through the same thing, but this is what
But you
so
brainstorm, and with 2 minds, 3 minds, 4 minds. Oh my
yeah,
goodness!
and
Because
that's the
everybody's been through
key.
something different.
Yeah, you have to
They can
find
help.
community as an entrepreneur because it
Yep.
is lonely because
It
everybody else
is.
is still conditioned to work a
Yep.
job. And
Yep.
so,
eight
they don't
hours for
understand.
school. And, like school was recess and lunch. It looks like two breaks and a lunch. Now it
Yep,
looks like you're
yep.
being conditioned to be a
A
worker bee or
worker.
an
That is
employee. Yes.
absolutely, oh my God, that is absolutely right. And you're right. School conditions you to be a worker. And
Yep.
what I have come to realize along this journey is if I take away Chanel and I take away Bright Girl Media, I take away all whatever else degrees and whatever, I am
Mhm.
a human being.
Yes.
I'm not a human doing.
Oh, I
Okay, I'm
like
a
that.
human being. So if I be who I am and I am my authentic self, and I learn how to rest because God mandated that we all rest, that
Hmm.
we have to rest
Hmm.
in order to continue to live, or we will not live long.
That's the truth.
Um, you know, and focus in that vein, and instead of that. busyness, because what happens is you become busy and you think you're being productive, but you're really not doing anything anyway. You're just being busy and burning
Yes.
yourself out.
Yes.
I get more stuff done in 3 hours than probably the average 8 hour worker gets done in a day, because I'm
That's probably true.
focused, because
And
I
here's,
know what I'm
yep,
here to
when you
do.
were talking about that, I was thinking about the 80/20 rule, where it's like, 20% of your activities is actually being productive, and 80% is doing, well, junk,
Nothing.
pretty
Nothing.
much.
I think about when I was at work, and I would get there and I would be the first one there and many times the last one to leave.
Mm,
Most of the time I was scrolling the internet,
yeah,
walking around, laughing and
yeah,
joking and talking with coworkers.
yeah,
Doing, I mean, nothing. Not like, I did not have to be there to do that. I would get there at about 8. Everybody else would come in at about 9, and by that time I've gone through all my emails. I've sent stuff out. I've done, because I'm sitting there and I'm quiet by myself and I'm focused. I don't have all these extra distractions. And
mm.
then for the rest of the day, I'm like, I can be at home. I can be at home, or whatever.
Right,
And you
right.
just fill it with stupid stuff that you don't really need to do. And so it's like, if you break that mindset, there's a book called The 4 Hour Work Week.
Tim Ferriss.
Yeah, yeah. And if you start prioritizing and really getting to the nuts and bolts of, one, what are those revenue generating activities as an
Yep,
entrepreneur?
yep.
What can you outsource and get off your plate that you are not that great at doing, that you don't need
Right.
to be doing, that is not
Absolutely.
generating more revenue for you, it's only causing you busy work, and you just make the main thing the main thing. Then all that other, I'm lazy. Yeah, I'll be lazy, but I'm making twice as much as you and you're working twice as hard.
That's right. I
So,
like that. I
yeah,
like that a lot. That's a bright girl right there.
there you go. Yeah.
um, let me see. I was going to ask you, had you went through, because we talked about this, I think, in the last 2, 3 shows that I've done, and it was called the imposter syndrome, where
Ooh.
you think that, who's going to listen to me? What do I have to offer? I go through that myself right now sometimes. I feel that a little bit because I'm not making the money right now, and I'm working full time, and I'm just doing this what I do.
Yeah.
But have you went through that, or
Daily.
still, really
Still.
still? Wow,
But the voice is smaller,
good,
because I've conditioned myself to know, again, I am a human being
right?
and I command a certain space. I understand who I am. I understand what my true talents are. And then sometimes I look at people, and not to get into the whole comparison thing, but there's people out here that don't know half of what I know and work
Exactly.
as hard as I will, and just based upon the merit that their dad went to some school or their mom is a part of some club, they have a job and they're doing whatever in their, you know, whatever they appear to have. But I don't know what those people really have, and it doesn't really matter. That, I think the imposter syndrome is part comparison. You're comparing yourself to what you think you should be, or what somebody else has put
Yeah,
on social media to
yeah,
make you need to live up to. It's like, no,
yeah,
this is who I am. I'm good in my skin, and I know
yeah.
what I bring to the table.
Yeah,
And
I
if you
guess
don't,
in my thing, I kind of, I'm just me. So it's like, I'm just a, average everyday Jim
and
because
that's
because
fine.
I'm not Joe. So
You don't need to be. I think this like social media generation has made us feel like we have to all be celebrity, or we all have to
oh,
be something. And it's
yes.
like,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
Like, I checked out. I went to a retreat about 3 weeks ago, and I put my phone down for 4 days, and
Nice.
I became me again. Like, I was not on social media. I wasn't checking my texts. I wasn't answering the phone. I literally, my phone was just put up, and it was
Wow.
the best time ever, because I was able
That's
to fully tap back into who I am. And that honestly kind of started that push toward me quieting that imposter voice. Now it's like, I don't care what you think about me, because at the end of the day, I don't. I mean,
I love it.
Found this level of liberty and confidence in who I am. It's like I don't care what you think of me. You're not paying my bills. You're
That's
not
true.
the one that's up at night trying to figure out how to make this thing work in the business. You're not, you're not here for my successes. You're not here for my lows. It is what it is. I'm still gonna go out here and get it. Nobody is, standing at your door, and if you're going to work every day, you're not sitting there thinking, "Am I good enough to go to this job? Oh, what are they gonna
No,
think?
you're not.
I go in
It's
here.
true.
Oh, geez, what am I gonna be?" You're not thinking about that. So why carry it into this space?
Yeah, I understand that. I think that too, but it's like your name's on it. And so you kind of look at it like, you know what I'm saying? You want everything to be the best because your name's on it.
As you
It-
should.
yeah, but sometimes it goes to, in my life anyway, it'll be like, oh, man, I'm not sure that's good enough because my name's on it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anyway, that's
Yeah,
my
I mean
thing.
it
I
happens
struggle
though,
with
that
that.
but that comes that's and this is my advice to myself as I say it to you and any other entrepreneur that's watching this. We have to learn to extend grace to ourselves and
That's
love
true.
ourselves a lot
That's
more
true.
than we allow ourselves to. Because we are always going to be our worst critics.
Yep.
Period. I could get on this podcast and this video. It took me a long time to even be able to get on video. And
Really?
oh my
Wow.
God, I was always afraid. I'm like, what do I sound like? What do I look like? Am I too fat? Are people going to see my double chin? Are they going to see this pimple on my face? Just all this foolishness. And
Yes.
it's like,
Yes.
why
Oh,
are
you're
you
so right.
concerned with that? Like, just go forth and let your power be, like people need what you have to offer. You're the solution to somebody's issue or
Yep.
problem.
Yep. Oh,
If you
you
don't
speak
show
my
up,
language.
if you fail to show up, you've robbed yourself and you've robbed them.
Yep.
So show up, with the pimple on your face and your hair out of whack or whatever the case may be. Like, show up.
Yep.
People are
Yep.
not paying attention to the
Yep.
things that you think they are.
What's really funny is I said that you'll look in the mirror and you'll see all this stuff that you would like to change, but everyone else sees that powerful you.
Yeah.
You have a strong confidence and a calmness about you, and you just radiate that peace and that joy that you have inside. So I see that. Other people may see other great qualities in you, but when you look in that mirror, you're looking at something totally different.
Yeah, because you it's
Yeah,
like, this is me.
it's just me.
And we have to stop diminishing ourselves.
Yes.
Somebody told me this, and when I tell you it shifted me, it was weird almost to think this way, but she came to me because I was struggling. And
Oh, we lost the video.
uh-oh,
Uh-oh. We lost it for a second. That'll be okay. You know what?
am
This
I here?
happens. You're here. You're
All
good. The
right.
lady came to you. We're gonna pick it right back up because
Yeah.
this is not perfect, and I don't want it to be.
Hey, we're all human, and
That's right.
it's not supposed to be perfect. So, but a friend came to me and she said, if you were at like a networking event or a gala or something, and you walked in there and God was a person and he introduced you to someone, or he was like going up on stage to introduce you to come up, what would he say about you?
That's deep.
I'm telling you, when I stopped and I thought about it, and I was like, and she was like, is that what you would say about you?
I wouldn't.
Probably would. And I said, no. And she said, that is where you need to go. You need to all of what you are thinking of you is null and void. You need to stand in the confidence of who God created you to be. He gave you this purpose. He gave you this drive to get here. What would he say about you? He knows what he positioned you to do and what he deposited in you.
Yep.
Stand in that confidence
That's awesome. Oh my
And
goodness.
yeah, yeah,
This has been so I now we've know the person. We know a little bit about the struggle. What about the triumph? How are you doing? Are you doing good? I saw all these companies you've worked with, and I didn't get a chance to say all of them and all that. Maybe you could do that and tell us how you're doing, like right now.
yeah. So, um, you know what? The companies are great, and they
Yeah,
make for a good resume, and they look
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Um, but I am doing great, and I can stand here with a smile on my face and say that because because of all of what I just said and all of the work that I've done on me.
And
Because
you,
I feel like without doing the work and without coming to a resolve in yourself, especially if you're going from a shift from like, that worker employee mentality to entrepreneur mentality, you will have those crises because it's like
yes,
you don't know who you are almost anymore. It's
right,
it's a totally new paradigm. It's a totally
yeah,
new you. How you showed up in work is not how you'll show up in your business, and it shouldn't be. Just like you
right.
said, I want this. My name is on this. This is
Yes,
me.
this is
And so
me.
it's a different level of pride that you're going to take in it. And
Yeah,
so, but with all that said, I'm doing great. I, as of since May, I've been full time in my business again.
nice, nice.
Um, like I said, president of my Master Networks chapter, growing that, doing some great networking, and building some stuff in the community, in the entrepreneur community,
Yes,
um, and just out here hustling every day.
every
Getting out
day.
in front of people and spreading my light because
I
that's
love
really
it.
what it's about. And I'm very proud of the work that I'm doing. And so to speak back to the companies that I work for,
Well,
just because only
if
because
you
you brought it
want,
up.
if you
Um,
want.
yeah, no. So I have contracted with Samsung Mobile, um, Texas Instruments,
Wow,
Neiman Marcus,
wow,
World Ventures, which is a travel company, Frito Lay.
wow.
Am I missing somebody?
Don't know. Can't
I
read
don't know.
anything because I'm blind.
I don't know. But those are the main ones those are the main ones.
Those are
But
the big ones,
honestly,
right?
yeah. But you know what? Like I said, they're good for resume builders, but my pride and joy is working with my entrepreneurs, with the
Yes.
entrepreneurial community, the small businesses, those people that wake up every day like me and their name is on the line and they entrust me with their brand to get it out there.
Wow.
Like that's crazy to me. I'm like,
That's amazing, though.
you're giving this to me because you entrusted to me to make your, you
Yeah.
know, name
Like
out.
their
And
child.
yeah, and
Really?
and it takes
Isn't
a lot, man. Whew. I mean, I'm a business owner. To turn over a piece of your business to somebody else and say, "Hey, I trust you to go run it."
Yeah. That's tough. That's
It
tough
is, but it's
trust.
necessary though, and I think that if more of us put systems in place and then trusted ourselves to make the right decisions and who we hire and bring on and stuff like that, that burnout and trying to do it all and be all of whatever, yeah, we could let some of that go and we could grow a lot faster. It's about really about bringing on the right people, hiring the right people.
It's outsourcing your weaknesses.
That's exactly right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Instead
Yeah.
of trying to learn everything. And I've said this to people too. If you can sit there and you can try to learn this new thing and that new thing and everything, you got to know enough about it so you don't get stolen from or
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
or pull the wool over your eyes. But you don't have to be an expert
No,
because
you
there's
you end up.
experts out there
Yeah.
you could work with, like yourself, that you could work with to change your whole paradigm, where you can go ahead and say, okay, I'm good at this, but boy, do I suck at this,
Yeah.
you know?
Trust me. I tell people all day long, I am not going to do my own taxes because I'm going to jail. Period. I'm going to get an
Go to
accountant. Like,
jail.
I'm not going to do it. Mm-mm. Nope. Give me a CPA. Like you just have to know. You have to know yourself, know your strengths, know your weaknesses in business, and hire people that are smarter than you. That is how you succeed in business. You don't have to know it all. You know, you become a jack of all trades, a master of none, and then you're burnt out, watered down, and
Yeah.
nobody knows what you really do.
Or
You
who you
know,
really are.
or who you,
Right.
yeah, you're putting
Yeah.
on so many different hats. It's like,
Yep.
no.
Yeah, and I think, like I said, I think that you just go through this whole thing where you got to have your hands on everything because your name's on it, your baby. You know, It's like giving up your firstborn child to somebody else.
I was just talking to somebody literally yesterday about this, but it's like, yes, when you first started, that is your baby, right?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
people like to say that, that's your baby. It's something that you created. It's something that you birthed.
Yes.
But even with your kids, once they get to 3 and 4 and 5, you send them off to school.
Right.
You
Oh.
trust them to somebody else for like the whole day, and you may peek in the classroom every now and again and take them on a field trip or whatever, but you have to eventually let them go and let them grow. Because if you
Yes.
kept a 5 or 6 year old at home all day, I mean, you could homeschool them technically, but then they wouldn't get the socialization skills. They wouldn't get, they
So
wouldn't.
you take them to the professionals.
You take them to the professionals
Uh-huh.
and you let them. It's just you
This is
can't.
so good.
Yeah, I think we do become like overbearing parents.
We do.
I am in my business. I won't lie.
Do.
I'm very, because I'm with you. It's my name. Like
Yep.
at the end of the
Yep.
day, I'm not doing this for Frito Lay. I'm doing this for Chanel, and I don't
Yeah. And
want.
how people view you,
Yeah,
you know?
but
Because
then
another thing is we're only how do you put that? We're only as good as our last thing that we did for somebody. I mean, it's testimonials and stuff like that. I mean, do people like what we do? Are we getting the results for those people that we need to? You know,
but you know
those things.
what? That comes too with systematizing, because if you can repeat it, like repeat results and repeat, input output,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, you become faster, you become more agile. You can then take those operating procedures or whatever you have documented, and you can hand them off to somebody, and you can train them up, and then give
Yes.
them, the
Yes.
space. Yeah, you want to watch them and make sure that they got it, and then they're off to the races. Now you've duplicated yourself, and now you can go to Mexico, Riviera Island, and kick your feet up a little bit,
Little
and know
bit.
that you're still making money.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
point of being in business.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to ask you, number one, what would you, what advice would you give to somebody just starting out as an entrepreneur?
Mm.
What kind of what pointers would you give somebody that would just try to get their foot in the water, so to speak?
Wow, so many. But the first thing that came to my mind was find your tribe. Um, I think if you have a supportive group of people who are around you, who believe in you, who can coach and guide you. I think everybody needs a good mentor. Michael Jordan had a coach, and he was the greatest. So if he needs a coach, you need a coach too. Um,
I
get
get that.
get supportive people around you to
Mhm.
help you in those moments when you're either doubting yourself, or something's going wrong, or you're experiencing something that's not bad, but it's just uncomfortable because it's new. Because
Mhm.
that's gonna always happen. Yeah, that would be my best advice.
Get your tribe.
Get your
The
tribe
people
together.
around you that care.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
difference between, you see, because we talk a lot about tribe in marketing,
Mhm.
and finding the people that resonate with you. This
Mhm.
is different. This is finding those people that not only resonate with you but have experience,
Yeah. They
have
have
done
experience,
you.
and they have
Yeah.
your best interest at heart too.
Yes. Exactly.
'Cause I've
I have a
had
few.
some
I
coaches
do.
and people around me, and I'm like, either they're in it because they want the money, or they're trying to down talk me or whatever, and I'm like, no. And another, to add to that too, I know you asked for one thing, but something else
No.
is really
Go ahead.
trust yourself.
Yes.
Like, this is your vision. This is what you have been given to execute. And if somebody is trying to lead you off, if I came into this and I said, I want to do digital marketing, and then somebody came along and was like, no, maybe you need to just like sell shoes. That has nothing to do like that has nothing to do with what I set out to do. Like,
No.
trust yourself. I could sit there and they could give me a long list of reasons why, and statistics and research and everything, why the shoe industry is about to boom right now, and I should
Right
go
now.
into it. But if I don't have that conviction in my heart, then I'm just chasing the next thing.
Oh,
Have the
that's
conviction in your
another
heart.
one. That's
Yeah.
another one a lot of young entrepreneurs get into, the shiny object syndrome, I call it. Where
Hmm.
there's like, oh, there's this tool over here I can use for social media. There's this tool over here I can host my stuff on. There's this
Hmm.
stuff that I could use to, you know, better this aspect of my business. It is so hard to lay off of that and keep your path
Yeah.
and keep your vision.
Yeah.
So
And
I,
keep
it's
it
yeah,
simple, because you start overcomplicating things, you get lost, and then you're like, how did I end up here? Oh my God.
it
So
begins
yeah.
to spiral. It really does.
Yeah.
But you got to keep focused, and like you said, you got to have good people around you to keep you in that focus. So
Hmm.
if you're reaching out for, oh, hey, whoa, wait a second, that would actually really help me, and you start going in to learn that, and you don't even know how far off the path you went.
Yeah. It's almost like a flight, right? So
Yes.
when you're flying, for those who know anything about aviation, they give you a flight path and they tell you to go, stay on this path. But if you go a degree to the
Hmm.
east or west or whatever, you
End up
by
in
the time
China.
you exactly, you end up way over somewhere. You're like, how in the world did I end up here? I was trying to go from Dallas to Chicago, and now I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. Like, this makes
Yes.
no sense.
Yes.
So, yes, stay the course, stay on the path, and,
Oh,
and trust yourself.
definitely.
Trust
I
yourself.
love this. I love this. I had never met you until today, and I'm very, very glad I have.
Oh, thank
This
you. I'm glad
has
I met you too. This has been
It's
fun.
been a really good time. I want you to tell the listeners what you do. You said digital marketing, but how would that help them? What do you offer to help people that might be looking into expanding their business, or how do they? Number one, what do you do? How do they get a hold of you? And what stuff do you have out right now for them?
Cool. So, I help my clients market their businesses online. And so I do that through web development. So I develop custom WordPress websites and landing
Nice.
pages and everything so that you have a home base on the internet. Follow that up by doing email marketing. So once people come on your site, they opt in, we're going to continue to communicate with them and, drip some emails on them and make sure that they understand, they know, like, and trust you, and you build rapport with them over time. And then I also do social media marketing. So everything from Facebook ads to Facebook management, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, all that jazz. I manage that for my clients. And so everything from the content creation to writing, graphics, I'm basically like an outsourced marketing department for my clients.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
amazing. And where can
Yeah.
they find you? I mean, where is this? What's your website and everything?
Sure. So my website is brightgirl.media. So it's not brightgirlmedia.com. A lot of people try that. No, it's
Dot media.
brightgirl.media. Yes.
Okay, we got to make sure we
Um,
distinguish that so they can find you.
yes. Yes. So you can find me there. You can learn more about me and what I do, and the different services and courses that I have. Currently, I am offering what I call my Tribe Up Guide. We just talked about finding your tribe in your business.
Yes,
And it's basically a workbook and a guide that will lead you to finding the clients that you love to work with,
there
and
you
that,
go.
because some people you're not going to want to work with. They may be, they may want your services, but sometimes it's worth more headache than than it is worth
Yep.
anything.
You don't need a
But it's
pain in the neck.
no, no, it's more about finding those that you really love to work with, those who want and need what you have. and speaking directly to them in their language that makes them then respond and do business with you. And so that's what the guide does. It's basically, it leads you through the process of understanding how to find your ideal customer.
And we'll leave a link to that in the description in the YouTube channel, guys, and also hopefully to the website so that we can get you to someone that's more of the expert on this stuff. And if you're having difficulties in marketing and getting your name out there, your brand out there, we have someone you can go to. So, yeah, this has been amazing.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This is
I had some fun. We're gonna have to do this again sometime. Yeah. I swear, this is gonna be good. Okay, everybody, do you want to say goodbye to everybody or?
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Look, thanks for watching us.
Thanks for watching us, everybody. You have a wonderful week, and we appreciate you watching each and every week. And this is the Entrepreneurial Truth Podcast. Signing off.